Recently, when giving a speech at the National Leadership Seminar for Hillsdale College, Charlie Kirk asked his audience a question. He asked them, "What kind of country do you actually want to live in? Do you want to be able to own a home, get married, and have kids? Or do you just want to stare at a screen all day and be an indentured Russian serf and never get to own anything for the rest of your life?" Now, those of you who might know me very well might probably know that I'm not a very big fan of Charlie Kirk. I really don't care for him as a person, and I don't care for many of his political views either. But today we will not be discussing my personal opinions, we will be discussing his speech. Recently, in February of 2025, Charlie Kirk gave a speech at the National Leadership Seminar for Hillsdale College, a prestigious private university. He gave the speech to a variety of business, education, and community leaders that attended the event, and today we will be analyzing his speech to determine, my personal biases aside, if his presentation was a successful one. Right off the bat, Charlie Kirk begins his speech by saying that he might be the first speaker at a national leadership seminar to not go to college. Right away, this does not bode well as it fails to establish any form of credibility for Charlie Kirk. He could have said that he is the CEO and co-founder of Turning Point USA, for example, or that he's a member of the Council for National Policy. Those both would have established much credibility. But he did not do that. Instead, he highlighted what he hasn't done, which is attend college, which can be particularly, for lack of a better word, unhelpful in American society when college education is very high valued. And remember that this was also a seminar hosted by an institution of higher learning. So this does no favors for Charlie Kirk, because he fails to establish any sort of credibility and leaves the audience wondering why he's been selected to give this speech. Now, Charlie Kirk presents many facts throughout this presentation of his. He has to. It's about politics and economics and the current state of the world, and you have to have facts for that. Obviously. But unfortunately, many of these facts are just blatantly untrue, which leads you to wonder if he did his research or if he even knows what he's talking about. For example, roughly 17 and a half minutes into his speech, Kirk is discussing Elon Musk and makes the claim that he could buy the country of Spain. He says, literally, you can look it up, he could buy Spain. This is wrong for a few reasons, which a quick Google search would tell you why. First of all, it's impossible to simply buy a sovereign entity such as a country, much less a large country like Spain. And for another reason, in 2024, World Economic stated that Spain's GDP was $2.78 trillion, while in April of 2025, Forbes states that Elon Musk's net worth is only $386 billion. Which means it would be impossible for him to buy Spain, even if that were an option. To put it into perspective, $400 billion could wrap around the Earth 1,575 times, but $2.7 trillion could wrap around the Earth more than 9,700 times, which means that it's impossible for Elon Musk to buy Spain. Now, one thing that Kirk does well, credit where credit is due, he has a very strong stage presence. He uses his hands dynamically, he frequently shifts the volume and tone of his voice to better match the topic that he is speaking on, and he does this very well. He has a very strong stage presence, and he is able to get the audience to respond to him quite well from what I was able to see. I had a limited view of the audience since this was a video. But in the end, unfortunately, I do not believe that Kirk was effective in the delivery of his speech. While he did have a very strong stage presence, and at the end he did have a powerful call to action, It was not enough to compensate for his failure to establish any form of credibility, his incorrect evidence that he presented, and some wild exaggerations that traded realism for a bigger reaction from the audience. I believe that with some proper adjustments, Kirk could have delivered an extremely high quality presentation. But as it stands now, unfortunately, Charlie Kirk's speech still leaves much to be desired. Thank you.